So I know there's no directions, but there will be. Number 1, we're going to find the segment bisector. We're going to find the segment bisector, and then let's find the length of JK. Okay, that's the first. These are plus signs. I don't know if y'all can see it from your desks. All of these on the screen are plus signs right now. So these are also plus signs. In the second, we're again going to find the segment bisector. I'm going to call it SB, segment bisector, just to shorten it. Segment bisector, and then we'll find the length of JM. Okay. Give you about another 30 seconds to draw it, to write it down. Then we'll begin. Okay, we'll all have it drawn. All right, so in number 1, what do these tick marks mean? They're congruent. So what is the segment bisector in this picture? M. So you can say point M, or you could just use a capital M. So that means these little tick marks, they mean the length of JM is going to be equal, bless you, to the length of MK. So the length of JM is going to be equal to the length of MK. So what is the length of JM? 7x plus 5. And what is the length of MK? 8x. Okay, so we've got this equation. I always move the smaller x, which here would be 7x. How do I move it across the equal sign? Subtract it. Good, on both sides. So on the left, the only thing I have left is 5. And on the right, we have 8x minus 7x, which is x. Okay? So, but I want to find the length of JK. I don't think there's a single question on your quiz that asks you to leave it at x. So what am I going to do to x to find the length of JK? Plug it in. Okay, so plug it in. JK is the whole line, J to K. So we'll start here with JM, 7 times x, which is 5, plus 5. What's 7 times 5? 35 plus 5 is 40. So the length of J to M is 40. On the other side, 8 times 5 is 40, just as it should be. Okay, what is the full length of JK? 80. Why did I still plug it into MK, even though I knew they were congruent? To check, okay? If they're not the same number, that means we made a math mistake somewhere, okay? Number 2, the segment bisector. Is it a point, line, plane, ray, segment? It is a line. How many points are on this line? There's 1. What is it? M, right here. Is L a point? No. So could I say ML? No. What can I say? Line L. So you use the lowercase letter when you're writing the word line. So line L. And then again, it's got these tick marks, okay, which means the length of JM, good, is congruent to the length of MK. So we'll plug in the length of JM, which is 3x plus 15, and it will equal MK, which is 8x plus 25. Kiana's out here to win some candy, I'm just saying. We always move the smaller x, so what is the smaller x here? 3x. So how do I move it across the equal sign? Subtract it, good. So 15 equals 5x plus 25. What's my next step? Subtract 25. 15 minus 25 is? Negative 10. And on the right side, all I have is 5x. So what am I going to do? Divide by 5. And then x equals negative 2. Can my x be negative? Yes, it can. My length cannot be negative. So when I plug it back in up here, because I want the length of JM, which is this one. So 3 times negative 2 plus 15. What's 3 times negative 2? Negative 6. Plus 15 is 9. So the length of JM is 9. Okay. Again, a way that you could check yourself is plug it on this side, and it should also equal 9. Okay. This next one, you're not going to, on this sheet of paper, for time purposes, you're not going to graph. We are going to graph together. You do graph on the quiz. But what you're going to write is, this is number 3, and then I want you to write down the 3 points. A is negative 7, 1. B is negative 4, 1. And then so on. All right, so remember that every coordinate is an x and a y. So if my x was positive, which direction would I go? To the right. If my x was negative, left. If my y was positive, up. If my y is negative, down. Okay, so starting with A, we've got negative 7, 1. So from the origin, am I going to go left or right? Left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then up or down? Up. And then you want to label it A whenever you do this on your quiz. B is negative 4, 1. So from the origin, left or right? Left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then up or down? Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, it's different on this paper. Okay, I know AB is a segment. So what can I do to notify that AB is a segment? Connect the dots. Yeah. So we got AB. We'll do the same thing for C and D because CD is a segment. So C, starting at the origin, left or right? To the right, 1, 2, 3, and then up or down? Down. Right, 1, 2. Good. All right, and then D, 3, negative 2. So to the right 3, and then down 2. Okay, connect those dots. What does the word congruent? Because we're determining whether they are congruent. Same what? Lengths. Okay, so we're going to count boxes. Again, in this section, you should only have horizontal and vertical lines because if it were diagonal, you can't, that's not how you find the length of a diagonal line. And you're going to see that in the very next section. Okay. So whenever you're graphing, a way to kind of check yourself in your mind, they should be horizontal and they should be vertical. If they're not, one of your points is graphed wrong. Okay. So this one is, you count the boxes. So 1, 2, 3. And then CD is 1, 2, 3. Are they congruent? Yes. So on your paper, you're going to write segment AB is congruent to segment CD. And then circle it or box it. I do think boxing looks nice. What if they weren't congruent? How would you write that? Put a slash. Okay, a little less aggressive than what I just did. Maybe a little slash, okay? But if they were not congruent, you would write AB and then a slash through it, okay? This next one, you can write find midpoint and then write down the 2 points. Find the midpoint and then write down your 2 points. This one we'll go through super quickly because it's just a formula. So find the midpoint and then write down your 2 points. All right, so we're going to take the x's. We'll take the first x. You can label these, right? We can label them x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to take my first x, which is negative 3. I'm going to plug it in. And then take my second x, which is 9. Okay, we're going to continue with that one. Minus 3 plus 9 is 6. Divided by 2 is 3. So we know the x of my midpoint is 3. We're going to do the y's. So what's my first y? 2. And my second y is 2. All right, and then add them together. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Good. All right, In this next one, it's going to be, we're given the midpoint and an endpoint. We're going to find the other endpoint. So the directions you just write, find other endpoint. Find other endpoint. We're just trying to shorten it so that you can look back at this, but also so we don't take forever. Find other endpoint. Find the other endpoint. And then you want to write down your 2 points. We've got M, which is 2, 5, and A, which is 2, 3. All right, so in order to do this, we took apart the formula, right? X1 plus X2 divided by 2. This part of the equation gave me what portion of the midpoint? The X of the midpoint. So we're going to plug in what we know and find what we don't. So what is the X of the midpoint? 2. This 2. So 2. What is the X of the endpoint they gave me? Also 2. So I did color code it for you where they came from. What is my next step in order to get X plus 2 by itself? Multiply by this 2, so we get rid of the fraction. 2 times 2 is 4. That equals 2 plus X. What is the last step in order to find X? Subtract 2. Good. And X equals 2. So what's the name of my other point going to be? B. And we know the X is 2. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the Y. I'm going to move this over so I have room. To find the Y of the midpoint, we use the Y1 plus Y2 divided by 2. All right, so what is the Y of the midpoint? Ooh, use a different color. It is 5. All right, and then what is the Y of the endpoint? 3. Okay, we don't know the other Y. What is my next step? Multiply by 2 to clear that fraction. Got to do it to both sides. 2 times 5 is 10. Then that equals 3 plus Y. My last step is subtract 3, and Y equals 7. Good. We do have one more to do together. So I want you to write down these 3. AB equals 13 plus 2x. BC equals 12. And AC equals x plus 32. This is the last one. So AB equals 13 plus 2x, BC equals 12, and AC equals x plus 32. It says use the information to write an equation in terms of x, then solve the equation. We'll find the length of AB, the length of BC, and the length of AC. So what helps is to draw a picture. We're going to have a straight line. We have point B is between A and C on segment AC. So we're going to have 3 points. What will the first point be? A, and the next one, and the last one, C. Good. We're going to take each of these, AB, which is this one. The length is 13 plus 2x. The length of BC is 12. And the length of AC is x plus 32. I'll give you a second to write it down. All right, so we know that when we take AB and we add it to BC, what will it give me the length of? AC. So we plug in everything that we know. What's the length of AB? 13 plus 2x. The length of BC? 12. And then the length of AC? X plus 32. I am going to give myself room. So you want to combine like terms. Miss Johnson said she used "don't call me after midnight." Don't call after midnight. So this is an acronym used for solving equations that have a lot of steps. D stands for distribute. Is there anything to distribute? There is not. C stands for combine like terms. Do you have like terms? Yes. You've got that 13 and 12. They are on the same side. So you do need to just combine them. You have a positive 13 and a positive 12. So what will that combine to? 25. Okay. We'll drop down that 2x. And it will equal x plus 32. I always move the smaller x, which here is x. So I'm going to subtract it. So on the left I still have 25. What's 2x minus x? X. And on the right all I have is 32. And then last, subtract 25. What is 32 minus 25? 7. It doesn't say find, it says solve the equation, so we can box this in. It does say solve the equation, and we're going to find a bunch of lengths. Okay. So what do we do with x in order to find the length of stuff? Plug it in. So for AB, 13 plus 2 times 7. What's 2 times 7? 14 plus 13 is 27. What's the length of BC? 12. Don't have to do anything there. And then AC, we're going to do 7 plus 32, which is 39. So you'll box in all of this as well. A good way to check yourself, AB plus BC should equal AC. So what's 27 plus 12? 39. Good. You're going to go ahead and clear your desk.